Because reading is what? Fundamental.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Do You Read BTS? I'm Lisa.
And I'm Zay. Thank you guys for joining us. So this week we have a special episode where we are joined by two very awesome people. One goes by Atomic Barbie, the other one goes by Lovely Monroe Doll 88, Mary and Silk. Pause. How are you guys doing?
Good. Dynamite is out.
Yeah.
Dynamite is out.
Yes, so stream it.
Stream Dynamite.
So you guys did the story, well, the YouTube series, the BTS Imagine Series on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
It is such an awesome series. It's
really
so
is.
entertaining. It's
Thank
the work
you.
that you guys put into it is truly amazing. So we just wanted to get your guys' inside scoop on the whole thing.
Let's see if I can do this in 2 minutes. My part of it.
I like when she tells it, and she tells it better than I can.
Yeah. So what I tell people, I joined BTS fandom 2 years ago, back in 2018, and being the typical person getting into a fandom, especially in another culture that's not your own, you do the typical thing of you want to see how that culture views you as a person. And so as a Black woman, you go down the rabbit hole of, I'll do, Korean, do they like Black people? What do they think? And all that stuff. And it's just seeing some things. At first I didn't like, fan fictions or Imagine series because I heard so many negative things about them and what people thought. But I decided just to be a person and check it out for myself. But what I found was that I could really count on one hand the representation of African American women in these series, and not just the written ones, but the Imagine series with visuals and things like that. And it kind of grinded my gears a little bit, just to think that we have, and I was seeing more of an influx of more African American demographic getting into K-pop, and we're not seeing that representation of ourselves in it. So then again, how can we have stake in something we love if we don't identify with it? So, so I just, in a sense, I was on my TikTok page when it was just starting, and I wanted to do a giveaway. So it started out as an edit project between me, and Hobie and things like that. And, then here comes Mary with this amazing edit. And I just I thought it was real myself. And then, and for me, like I said, I'm like Mean Girls, like I'm a pusher, Katie. I'm a pusher. And I was like, this story has to be told, or you at least need to put something out there on YouTube so, people can see themselves. Girls and women like me can see themselves. And I literally bothered her for at least 2 weeks. I bothered her. For 2 weeks until she did it. And when she finally caved in, it just became a wonderful project. And then the first episode came out, and then I hounded her again, was like, you can't leave it like this. You can't leave it like this. And then it took off from there.
Well, thank you for bothering her about it.
Yeah. Because every episode I'm like that. I'm like, you can't leave us like this.
No, exactly. I have so many questions. I just can't wait to finish watching.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
It's. I know you mentioned seeing Imagine series and things like that, but this for me, I've watched a few different Imagine series, but I've never seen anything like this before. Like this is very the editing is nuts. Like you guys are actually communicating with them. The subtitles look like they're actually saying it. The emotion that's happening, it looks like they're actually feeling it. It's super dope. Like
she's crazy. She is so crazy with it. I can't even. I don't even know where she gets it from. I don't know.
It really does take a lot of time for me to find these, perfect moments where they're saying words that sound almost English. But I love it. I thoroughly enjoy looking for those details that make the difference.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because because soon as this last relive was out, I was like, she's gonna use this. Just get up and sit down.
I said the same thing.
Yes.
I said the same thing. I was like, thank you, BTS. Thank you. Y'all just don't know. Like,
Yes.
Yeah, my fans are doing that. They'll message me personally and say, "Hey, you're gonna use this one, right?" And I'm
Yeah.
like, "Yeah."
That is
Oh,
too
Lord.
funny. They're giving such good content.
Uh-huh.
And I
Right.
don't know if you guys are watching. I'm talking to the listeners. I don't know if you guys are watching this. You guys have to watch it. It literally seems like a real story. Like I'm so convinced that Hobie and Babs are together. I don't care what nobody's saying. I'm so convinced.
Yes.
Well,
There is
the thing
there
is because it comes from too, it's inspiration. It comes from our stories, inspiration from some of our stories that we put in that we've been through in real life. And then two,
Yes.
it's just we literally talk about when we go over storylines, we literally talk about these things in real life. She gives us
Yes.
these choices. She literally, each actress has a choice of you can go this way or you can go that way. And we really have to think about what would my character do, you know what I'm saying, in this point of view. So she really gives us, I mean, I had weeks with the whole decision of Hobie and Jake Park because it was I was either going to stay, with Hobie and choose and work it out, or I could have went with Jake Park. And literally for weeks, she gave me 3 weeks and I agonized over it
Oh
for
my God.
weeks.
Yep, to the point where our mamas got involved.
Yes.
And they
Oh,
were like
wow.
harassing us. Yes.
Yes.
Oh,
Well,
wow.
this is beautiful because you suffered like that. It made it so real.
Yeah.
There were
Seriously.
moments that I did not. I called. There was like an episode when an episode came. I was like, "How dare Hobie do this? No, no, no." She's going, "No, you might as well put it." And then Jay Parker, I was like, "Oh God, now we're here." And then I was like, "I don't know. I'm so confused." Like I'm literally. We've had nights where I was up with her all night, just agonizing. And I'm like, "But if this happens, but then everyone's gonna be mad at me." And then I was like,
Oh, man.
Yes. And the other thing I like to do is I like to keep secrets from my girls too,
Yeah.
because they're fans too. They like to watch the
Yeah.
show themselves. So I keep certain decisions to myself and they find out along with everybody else.
That's cool.
Certain details. So it's shocking for them too.
Yeah.
I feel like that makes it a little bit more like it makes it more interesting to see it because not only are they in it, but then they don't really know all of the details.
Yes.
That's really neat.
So when we're making choices, we really don't know what's coming after that.
Right.
That's so cool. So with the actresses that are in this series, how did you guys decide on like who was going to do what, and how did you kind of fit each person into their character?
Oh God. I think both of our actresses came to us really very organically because we did. Yeah.
That is true. I didn't think about that.
Yeah, and because we held auditions and we specifically know sometimes who we want to focus on. Like we want now it looks like we want Jen to have, you know what I'm saying, a YN, or we want Aaron to have a YN. So for us, it's about getting to know the boys. And in order to know this, we've had to literally study these boys and get to know their personalities, get to know what they like, because then again, we want to pair the right girl, the right personality with them because it's going to make it so believable. So we went through a whole process of auditions, and it just, there were some wonderful auditions out there, wonderful ones, but it just wasn't the right, you know what I'm saying, like fit.
Yes.
For it. And then with Star Lauren, I knew her from another like group, mutual group from TikTok on Instagram, and I knew she did cosplay. She did a lot of cosplay and a lot of Disney princesses. So I contacted her and I said, Lauren, can you please just send an audition video for something? And when she did, it was like great. And then Dominique, who plays Serafina, literally watched the series and just sent us an audition. She literally, when I say she popped out of nowhere, you guys are perfectly right about that. And the last one, she literally popped out of nowhere, and we were like, that is RM's girl.
That's
literally
funny.
Yes.
I told Mary, I was like, if you do not bring her on board, I am beating your ass.
Sometimes you gotta fight it out.
Like I'm trying not to cry. I was like, no, we have to have her. And so that's they really did come organically to us.
What about Angel?
Oh, she was originally part of the whole
Yes.
thing. Like when we first
Yeah.
started, she was a part of like our friend group.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
okay.
yeah, so
Yeah.
she just kind of stepped in when
And
we
she
didn't.
helped the story. She actually
Yes.
helped us. She was actually, because we were kind of stuck. We were actually season 1 at a standstill of what we were going to do
Yes.
with it. Her name's Alina, and she goes, why does the story have to end? Why can't you add another story? And then we went, oh, light bulb. That's a wonderful idea. So she really kept it going with adding other characters in it. So
Yes.
it was a wonderful thing.
Oh, shout
Yeah,
out to her.
because she's an amazing writer, and her and I got along very well. Like instinctively, we both writers, and that is like who we are at heart. And so she just came up with a few ideas that kind of freed me to be more creative. And I'm always grateful for her on that. And she when we needed a second story, I'm like, oh, so you think another story would be great, another YN? And she was like, yeah. And I'm like, okay, well, let's put the money where your mouth is.
Yeah,
and why don't you be YN?
And it worked out beautifully because I love her character in this.
Yeah, same.
Yeah. So she wrote her own character. She came up with her own name. She did the whole 9. She was very instrumental at the beginning, very, very much.
Yeah.
Now she has her own stuff. Like she has her own series. She has her own Wattpad, and
really?
Well.
Oh, we need to know her stuff too. Then we need to know her stuff.
So it's a good thing. It has a good sound, and that's what I love about this series. It just really flourishes everyone else's gifts and things like that. So we never want to hold anyone back, from anything. So if you feel you have a gift, you can go ahead and branch off and do what you need to do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's wonderful. We celebrate. We want people to be able to do their own thing, and just use this as a foundation, as a stepping board to do something greater.
Yes.
That's awesome. No, that's really awesome, because sometimes you find where people will be working on something and they'll try to venture off and to do their own thing, and then people are like upset about it. Oh, well, how dare you? How dare you? So it's really cool that you guys are really for that.
Well, because I feel like everyone has their own gift, and that's just like with anything in this industry. It's something in there for everybody. So why fight over it? No one's a king or, you know what I'm saying? The gatekeeper of this and this and that. So I don't believe in holding people back from that. And if you want to be released, you know what I'm saying? Please go forward. I'm happy to have a part of your growth, at that point.
That's awesome.
That's so sweet. So I know that Mary have talked to us about the writing process. Can you just go over that writing process? Take us through it.
Yeah. So I originally, when I started season 1, I kind of was a little bit overwhelmed because it was new to me. Prior to this, I only edited 2 other videos for like family things. So I wasn't, I've written 12 books in my lifetime. And I'm going to be publishing one soon, but it's not the same. It is, series for a television show or just something on YouTube. That type of writing is so different. So I found myself, looking for formats and how can I make this more organized. And so I Googled the crap out of it. And I searched a lot of stuff and I really went ham on it. And then I found a style that worked best for me, which I literally will sit down at the beginning of a season and I will write down things that come to me, just ideas, and I will be brainstorming with Silkya, or I'll be, and sometimes even Dom or Lauren joins us and we'll be just brainstorming some ideas and we'll just talk with each other. And then I take all those ideas, because I put them all like in a long list. And then I pretty much just map them out per episode. I just go, okay, this is going to happen on this episode. This is going to happen on this episode, and such and such, until I map out the entire season. Then once that's done, then I go to the first episode of the season, and I will literally write that out. How I want things to go. What kind of shots am I looking for? Like what do I essentially want in each scene to happen? What do I want to convey? What do I want people to see? And it keeps me extremely organized with all of my projects that I'm working on. And it makes it easier when I go to change because I change my timeline too often, because sometimes you start recording a season and then you realize, wait, this doesn't, no.
Oh no.
Yeah, we'll have meetings. She goes, I just realized something. I have to go back and change it, you know.
Yeah.
And the thing about her writing is too, her as a writer, I love it that she gives us the opportunity to. It's not just her. She gives us the opportunity to have, you know, to contribute to the stories as far as writing goes, and things like, so it's not just all her. She literally goes, hey, can you do this part? And it's like, excuse me? Like, I'm not like you. But she goes, no, I think you know, maybe you write this and then give it back to me and then see what goes on. So she's really been she's not one of those type of like writers that's like, no, this is my story. We're going to stick to it. Da, 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 da. Everyone has a say.
That's all. Yeah, that's good.
And guys, we have like, I know you guys don't know, we prior talked to them and we seen the process. And it is a lot. It is a lot. She really breaks it down. So kudos to you for being able to do so much.
Yeah. Well, and two, our fans have done a lot too with input. And so it's not just, you know, her writing. Our fans give us input of what they would like to see. I even had a fan, like with the text messages, we didn't even know how people were doing these text messages until one of my fans had DM'd me and go, hey, I think you would like this app. You know what I'm saying? It's called Social Dummy or whatever like that. And when I found that app, it just literally, I think we found that like mid-season 2 and it changed everything.
It was wonderful.
That's really
cool. Because Sophia was the one that was writing the text messages. I was like, you know what? You do that portion. She was really good at it. She was better than me. And so I was like, you do the text messages and I will just do this part, you know?
Yeah. I'm techie like that. I love techie stuff like apps and things like that. Please let me play around with it. And once I figured the app out, it was just like boom. And I sent her the first, and I did it on my own. I was in my internship and literally, I don't know what took over me. I was in my office and this rush of emotion came over. So it was the scene where it was like between the first text was between Babs and Hobie, like, you know, when he talks about you're my heartbeat, like that part, I don't know what took over me.
That was so emotional.
And then when I sent it to her, she was like, you seriously wrote that? And I was like, dude, I think I wrote that, but I'm not sure.
That's real. That is real.
Well, who wrote the whole thing where Hobie messaging her this? You know, the whole message that Hobie sent her when she was reading it in the car and she was back in the Uber. She's back in the Uber. She was reading
email.
Okay, yeah.
Who wrote that? Because girl, that was amazing.
No,
and honey,
it was. I know. So people don't know. I'm a graduate student and I'm going for professional counseling. And I told her, I said, you better be glad I was in class with a whole bunch of other counselors because she sent me the email and thank God I was on break. I read it and just started bawling in front of my whole entire class.
Yes, it's ball worthy.
It was definitely.
And so that's where, but that sparked the hookup scene because I called her and I said, hey, Babs and Hobie, after reading that, I'm sorry, there has to be a slip up because I know me. Therefore, there's no way she would have went there and nothing would have happened. Like you have to have something happen between those two because that was a little too emotional. Yeah,
I'm
so
telling
there,
you.
yeah.
We was wanting to bounce on it from the screen.
Right. And when I heard that, when I heard her read that, girl, then she said back to the blue side. I'm driving down the road from work, and then the blue side popped up like it was a real song. I was like, oh my God. I like got emotional about it. I played it a couple times. Because I was thinking about the story.
And I even went back to Hope for it. I was like, when did he make this song?
I wish he would have made that like a whole song though, really.
Yeah.
Well, the funny thing is that my brother used to have a recording label and in California for many years, about 10 years, I think it was before he sold it. And I used to write a lot of lyrics for different artists that he would have. And so I wrote a lot of lyrics for people. And so it was very easy for me to write lyrics. It just comes very natural to me. And so I wanted it to sound like it came from Hobie. So I literally pulled up the lyrics for Blue Side and got the most translated close to the word, Korean word as possible. And I used it as inspiration as I was writing this letter. So I kind of treated it as if I was writing lyrics in a way.
That makes sense.
Yes, but not so much.
Girl,
What I'm
because it
saying?
sounded like
More like
something.
a poem.
It sounded exactly like something Hobie would have really wrote.
Yeah. Well, good. Thank you. I
So
was shooting for
let me
that.
just give you a clap for that.
The thing
Girl,
is, she
it was
really
good.
gets them down. But even in the whole series, just their mannerisms, what they would say, it's one of those things that sometimes you watch Imagine series or fan fiction, you go, they would never say that, or they would never act like that. But this one, it's like, they
so
would.
real.
Yeah.
I'm so convinced. I'm so convinced.
I believe all this is happening, and like you guys aren't just telling. You guys just won't tell us the secret that you guys work for the company.
Y'all
You're
know
dating
something.
Hobie. Like
Uh-huh.
you guys can tell
They
us.
know
It's fine.
something. They know something.
We pinch ourselves all the time when it comes to things because art imitates life a little bit too much now.
You ain't lying. You are not lying.
I love it.
And there are fans that are absolutely convinced that we work for the company, and it's like, no, I wish, but no.
But that's a testament of showing of how good you guys are at what you do, not just with the series, but just how you guys are on social media and things like it just says a lot to that. So that's
Thank you.
You're welcome. So I know you guys were talking about the editing and things like that, and I know we spoke on this before, but let the people know about how long it takes to edit and splice everything together.
Well, it depends. If I have a video that's mainly just the boys, like for example, recently I did one with Kai and Hobie. Those go by really quickly. I can do those or that scene in about 45 minutes to an hour. But when there's scenes that require more than that, especially if it's involved with like a face-to-face kind of conversation, there's background noise, people going in and out of the room, or there's another idol in the room, and I have to edit sound. It can take 2 to 4 hours for that scene.
Wow.
So give it like every episode about 8 to 12 minutes. It's anywhere from 4 to 6 hours. The most I've done is 8 hours.
8 hours?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yes. I've had to tell her take a break sometimes. I'm like, if you don't stop.
Girl, because you can really tell because that editing is precise.
It is very,
Thank you. I appreciate it.
So
I'm like, when they get into them fights, girl.
That's what, like, just the sound and how it's placed. This whole thing blows my mind. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Like,
there have been times where I've had to record things in my car. Just for the sound, she goes, she says it's best if you go in your car, for this. And so, she's very good at, like, this is where you need to be, or maybe you can try this. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, because
and the scene you were talking about, the fight scene between the first one that ever premiered on the series was between Hobie and Jen. That one was very difficult because it was the first time I was working with sound. I'd never worked with sound before like that.
What?
And so yeah. So luckily, however, my brother happened to be there that day, and I found myself very frustrated after 2 hours, and it still didn't sound real. And my brother was like, "What are you doing? I keep hearing like repetitive noises. Like, what's going on?" And so I was like, "I can't figure this out." I was like freaking out. I was like verge of tears, and I'm like, "I can't. I'm not gonna put it out if it doesn't sound right." And then and I was just like now starting to think of other ways of editing that scene without having to use that sound. And my brother was like, "What?" He sat down for 2 minutes. He was done.
Yeah. Her brother has done a lot. And the thing is, her brother is really, we would call him like the silent partner. Her brother has really all contributed a lot. Like some of the music, he's done himself. He's contributed himself, his own music into it. And just the advice of how to do editing, this and that. And like he has really become like a really good silent supporter and partner in all of it. I think my favorite is the J Park. The one that she really spent a lot of time on is the parking lot scene between the fight with Hobie, J Park.
Yes.
Oh my god.
I was like, where did this come from? Is this like this is a real scene? Like
That's
what
what
did
it
it come
sounded
from?
like.
Yeah.
That was a hard scene to find because first
Mm-hmm.
of all, it is very rare for you to find any sort of footage that includes Asians in an altercation. It is
Mm-hmm.
like
Yeah.
finding a needle in a haystack,
Mm-hmm.
okay?
Mm-hmm.
So I was lucky to find something. It just we because there are so many of us who were like looking for stuff. Like
Yeah.
so, Kia was looking, I was looking,
Mm-hmm.
Alina was looking, and some of our friends at that time were just like looking desperately, and they were
Yeah.
all like actively looking everyone online. And so we finally found one, and I was like, "Oh, thank you, Jesus!"
Yeah.
And then finally, I was able to put it together. And then my brother kind of every single time my brother would sit with me, I would learn like
Yeah.
so much, and I could feel my my knowledge and I would feel more comfortable, and like I feel like I always tell people every season not only does my editing get better, but also
Mm-hmm.
my sound editing gets
Mm-hmm.
better, and it's because of him, because like I said, he owned his own record label, and he's a producer, and
Mm-hmm.
he also directed music videos for his artists, and
Mm-hmm.
so he has all of that knowledge. Like he went to college, and he's so prepared. And
Yeah.
whereas when I went to college, I went for a different thing. It was not the same as his. So
Yeah.
for me, it's like starting from scratch, like new. And so when I sit with him, it's like a 15-minute lesson goes a long way
Yeah.
for me.
That's good.
Well, thank you, brother,
Yeah. Shout out to
for
you.
helping the series out because it's amazing.
It
Yeah.
is.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, we have a lot of family support, so it
Yes.
makes the difference when you have family support.
Speaking of
Right,
Yes.
family
especially
support,
in the
how did we get?
BTS
Mm.
stuff.
Yeah,
Mm.
how did you convince your mama to get on the episode, girl?
Um,
She's so sweet.
um,
I love
well,
her
yeah, because
mama.
people don't know. My mom really didn't. She was so against social media for years. Like she didn't have faith or nothing. She just the first time she ever did anything with me in social media was like on TikTok a year ago. And I remember my
Mm-hmm.
dad, called me from Vegas. Was like, "How did you convince your mom to be on, social media?" And so I guess the bug bit her, but my mom is just so supportive. She's ultimately, been my cheerleader from anything. So we
Mm-hmm.
go to her and go, we want to be an astronaut. She will find space camp. She will find art. She will
Yes.
do, she will find us an astronaut suit just for us to do things. And
Mm-hmm.
when I came there and I said, well, mom, because she's watched the series, and I said, well, Babs needs her mom, and my mom was just like, oh, sister, what do I do? Like, how do I? But she was just so help. She sees it as a positive thing, going
Go,
forward. So
mama.
she wanted to help and contribute. So it's like, as a mother, you're gonna do whatever you can for your children,
Yes.
and she's just such a star. She is such a star,
Mm-hmm.
and
She
I'm so
do.
proud of her.
And she is so
And I thought
sweet.
it was a
Just
special,
so
yeah. And I
sweet.
thought that was just a special thing because we'll forever have that
Yes.
moment with each other.
Yes.
Exactly. No, that's
Yeah.
definitely
Mm-hmm.
something that y'all can bond over for years to
Yeah,
come. I just think it
yeah.
was special
Mm-hmm.
too because of the actual moment in the story. It was so
Mm-hmm.
there's things that you guys do with this that make it even more realistic than it probably should be, because it's just like you're messing with our heads. We think this is real. But it's
Yeah.
stuff like that you guys do that makes it so realistic, and it was a very good touch
Mm-hmm.
to it. Because
Well, the
even
thing is, that's what it's supposed to be.
yeah, it's a good
Mm-hmm.
touch.
Mm-hmm.
Because we wanted everyone to get this, whole thing of when we understand the culture of K-pop, you know what I'm saying, and what that means as far as the fans and all that stuff. But we wanted everyone to kind of see these idols in a human light. You know what I'm saying? We want
Yes.
them to be able to have those opportunities of they can fall in love with people, and they can fall in love
Right.
with regular people. They don't have to be idols with
Regular
idols.
strangers.
Yes.
They are capable of having relationships, and how do they govern these relationships? And so we feel like if we normalize it a little bit more, people are seeing it, the more people get invested, then the more people want it. Like,
Right.
oh,
Yes.
this is what we want. Now we see that they can have it and still be able to, at the same time. It's like, that's what we wanted people to really get a hold of, is just to see the humanity in these idols.
Yeah, job well done because I see it.
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
think we all see it. Anybody who views it
Mhm.
probably sees that. So,
Right,
Yeah.
'cause
Mm-hmm.
that was one of the biggest things that me and D was talking about is that we loved how you guys made all the YNs as regular smegular girls.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They wasn't like everybody know Barbie, skinny Barbie, white,
Yeah.
pasty
Yeah.
face girl. Like there was
Yeah.
everybody there. It was a,
Yeah.
a
Mm-hmm.
variation of a
Well,
bunch of girls.
Well, it's a thing of too. What makes you think that they wouldn't want to date any, you know what I'm saying, person of color, any person of, you know what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying, things like that. And I think it may show people in Korea or these idols who may be secretly watching themselves. It is
Right.
okay, you know what I'm saying,
Mm-hmm.
to
Mm-hmm.
celebrate difference. You know, it's not so much as difference as a bad thing. It's difference of, you know, you're seeing the beauty in everything, and it's okay.
Right.
Yes.
You know, you don't have to conform yourself to just one box.
right.
Mm-hmm.
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 And that's why I'm like, this is amazing. Like, I love all of this. Like, is this
Mm-hmm.
showing? It is not only showing like the fandom what's going on. It's also if any idols are watching, it's showing BTS that y'all really are like showing us that we need to love ourselves and all that
Yeah.
stuff like that
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, but it
Mm-hmm.
also teaches
Yes.
people in relationships what, you know, because we've
Yes.
also had women or, you know, people or young girls or young men going, I watched this and now I realize in my own life, you know, this is how I govern relationships and how I should be
Mhm.
treated. So then again, it's
Mm-hmm.
teaching you lessons about what a relationship looks like, how you should be treated. You know,
Yes.
Right, right.
what does a toxic relationship look like, or what does this, you know
Yes.
what I'm saying, look, and
Yeah.
how do you govern
Mm-hmm.
those things? So I think
Mhm.
we think if people really, not just so much focusing on the idols, but if people take a lesson out of this and apply it to their
Mhm.
own lives and it makes them better, or they were able to leave a toxic relationship, or, you know,
Mm-hmm.
make their relationship better, you know, things like that, then honestly, mission accomplished, because that's ultimately what we wanted to accomplish.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
That's great.
Cause
I
you,
love the lessons. I love
Yeah.
the just the
yeah.
thought behind everything is really
Mm-hmm.
good. I love
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, girl, because you cannot convince me that we don't want no black girl now. You can't do it. Or
Not
no,
anymore at
Please,
this
just
a little
point.
flavor.
look for real. Like
I
Babs and Hobie are
know.
together. What is he talking about?
Right.
They're in a relationship. That's it.
Well, you know, and the thing is, but here's the thing, is like these are conversations that people are having with their friend groups all the time. We were just bold
Yes.
enough to put it on the forefront. These were
True.
conversations that
Right.
we were talking about, you know what, like Hobie needs this, like everyone knows, like I think of it as Hobie and RM honestly would benefit from a black
Yep.
girl, because RM needs someone who's, you know, nice, but puts him in his place. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Hobie likes the feisty one, so he kind of needs someone that's like, yo, you know what I'm saying? Let's get with, you know, like stuff like that. So you know, this is things that people
Mm-hmm.
talk about all the time.
That's
Yeah.
We just
just that's so funny to me because when you said that about RM, automatically in my head, I think about a black woman saying, "Put it down, you're gonna break it." No, no, put it down.
Yeah. But see, that's
Okay,
the thing. He needs someone who has that.
It's
But
so
and
true.
that's why I like, Sarah, her name is Dominique. I like her character because here's the thing. Yes, he needs someone to put him in his place, but he also needs someone that has a really, really sweet temperament at the same time. Like
Yes.
uh-huh.
Hobie loves the ratchet. Okay, like Babs is
Mm-hmm.
gonna dig into a
Yes,
He really
ratchet raw,
you
does.
can't
but
convince me otherwise.
right, but RM, he needs someone to, like, okay, we're not gonna do that, but he wants someone a little soft, so she's
Yes.
like the perfect balance in between the two of
Right.
Mhm.
that type. So that literally, when we are, I feel like I told Mary, I was like, are we playing matchmaker right now? But it's
Seriously.
like even with Jen's character, like honestly, Lauren
Mm-hmm.
and start Jen's character, even though she's with Jin Young right now, her character and Jen are perfect because she's bubbly. You know what I'm saying? And
Mhm.
knowing what Jen, like, he said he loved a Disney, he wanted essentially a Disney princess. And
Yes.
so then the fact of the
Yes.
matter is she does Disney cosplay. I was like, oh my God.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
And her personality off camera is the same. So that bubbly, that is her.
Oh my
Which
god.
Mhm.
yes.
What if you find
She
out
really is.
in 5 years, like that they are now in a relationship and he's been looking for her his entire life? Wouldn't
Girl,
that be crazy?
Babs and Hobie,
Man.
don't happen.
Oh, that'd
He
be
can
crazy.
call me. You know, his people. I've been saying I've been a little bold now on TikTok. You know, your people call my people. You know,
Your people know my people.
right? Like pop the question, sir. That's all I've been saying on TikTok.
Right, girl, because I promise you, when he was in America and nobody knew what he was doing in America by himself, I told you,
Girl,
I was like, he over here seeing a black
no.
girl.
And then when
I'm
he came back to Korea, with that shit. I said, what party did he come from?
Okay.
right.
I
He
said,
tired.
this shirt. I said
Did
somebody was
he even
drinking too
sleep?
much tequila. Okay, I
Okay.
just
Right.
said.
I was like, somebody wore him out, girl. He just did not
Right.
care.
That is exactly what he
But
looked
see, that's
like.
the thing. The thing is now in K-pop, I think we don't really like to think that they are, men. You know what I'm saying? They are men at the end of the day. Men have needs.
Right.
People have needs, and
Mm-hmm.
they're adults at the end of the day. And a lot of people are not
Yes.
seeing BTS as adults. And and honestly, I said this on TikTok last year, and I warned everyone. I said, you guys, BTS are going to start making some grown man decisions, and you need to be
Right.
ready for these
Mm-hmm.
grown. And then that's when JK got a tattoo. That's when all
Yep.
this, you know what I'm saying, happened. And I was like, they're ready to be seen as men, not boys. I think Army
Yeah.
in general, and that's why I said I don't want to divide it as, oh, it's K armies or I armies,
Yeah.
because it's not
Yeah.
just that. It's just Army in general, of course, because of the persona. And the thing is,
Mm-hmm.
BTS, I honestly realized, and that's why this Map of the Soul 7 was a reboot. A lot of people didn't hear Arya when he said that. This was a
Mm-hmm.
reboot of them revamping their image, because I think they realized, I think we're putting this persona of we're this
Mm-hmm.
cookie cut, like we're this, boy, like cookie cutter. And I think Boy Will Love was like their last little like homage of, happy this and that, but they want to be
Mm-hmm.
Right.
seen as mature adults. That's why I said Black Swan was like, I looked at, I
Oh
said the
yeah.
94 line did a total 180.
Yeah.
I was like, whoa.
Yes, honey, because Hobie been wrecking everybody's heart. I
Okay.
don't know what he's going on with that
He
forehead,
really
girl.
has.
Girl,
He
I don't know
really
what he got going
has.
on with that jet black hair and that forehead, but
he
he
is
needs to
he
keep
is
on
wrecking.
doing it.
And that
How
forehead.
you get wrecked by
Yes.
your own bias wrecker? I do not know. I think he
Man.
does it on purpose. I think it's a personal thing. Now I take it personal now. I'm like, I think he's doing this to me on purpose. I really believe
Mhm.
He is, and I believe it.
Mhm. Like he's out there to try and kill
Man,
everybody.
he's been
Mm-hmm.
coming for
And
souls and edges, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm here
But
for
it's
it.
yes.
about time. But it's about time, because he was really one of the members that has really been put on the back burner. And I really feel like when
Yes.
Chicken Noodle
Right.
Soup came out, I was so happy, because then the
Yes.
world
Yes.
finally got to see what, us Hope Worldians and the Hobie stands saw in him all along. And now the world got to
Yes.
see it and got to embrace, him in that
I
sense. And
agree.
it was such a proud moment just to see him step out, because he is really a person that likes to see the other members shine. He's
Right.
really those where he
Mm-hmm.
likes to see them shine
He
and put
is.
himself on the back burner. And it was just like, come on, hun. It's like, you have just as much talent. You have just as much. You need to shine as well. So I'm happy that this is really just his season of coming out, of the woodwork.
Mhm.
And I couldn't have been more proud of him. I feel like a girl, like, oh, I'm so happy. I'm so proud of him.
Girl, yeah, you
Right. Like
clap
that's
for
my
your
baby.
man. Clap for your
Right.
man,
Celebrate your
girl.
man and his accomplishments.
Yes, that's your man. Okay, don't be scared. But I think
uh,
that's what I
Yes.
like a lot about K artists, that they, when they are in groups like that, you can separate, do your single stuff and get back
yeah.
together. In America, they
Yes.
don't really do that.
Right.
It's
It's
like
all about
No.
separation. A lot of people, it's all about,
right.
let's separate the one member and then that person goes solo. And I love it. I think I was just telling
Mhm.
her last night, I love it that like with Korea, it's like, no, we will let you go solo, but bring your butt back over here.
Okay.
Right,
Don't forget about the
Right.
right,
rest of
Yes.
them. Like, I love
right.
that.
Exactly.
Mhm.
So
Mm-hmm.
and I think that's what make K-pop as popular as it is, because we were so used to the boy band. We know exactly how this goes, and K-pop
Mm-hmm.
offers people something different of, oh, you
Right.
can have this and still be here.
Yes.
Yep.
And I feel like they also reach out to a greater
Yeah.
volume of people
Mm-hmm.
because how I discovered Got7 was through Jackson Wang.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
I didn't know
me
much
too.
about
Mm-hmm.
Got7, until, you know, I became like a huge fan of Jackson
Yeah.
Wang. And then through him, I found Got7. And then I started
Mhm.
standing Got7.
Yeah.
So if it wasn't for him, I would have probably discovered Got7 way later,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Mhm.
So I feel
Mm-hmm.
like that's also very intelligent on their part, because it allows them to reach a wider variety
Yeah.
of an
I
audience.
love
Right.
Jackson. Jackson, fun fact, Jackson was actually the first K-pop picture I ever saved in my phone. And everyone would have thought it was BTS. I was like, no, it was actually Jackson.
That's
I had
funny.
wallpaper Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
Girl,
It was.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
you know, not a lot of people that don't know about Korean people or Asian culture or anything. Soon as
Mm-hmm.
they see them, they be like, "These are Chinese people," and you be like, "No, they're not.
No, they're
They're not
not.
I know. They're
Chinese." Like,
not.
Yeah,
I feel like
no.
that's the most racist, ignorant
Yeah.
thing. And I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, so is it cool that we're Mexicans then?
Right.
Because
Well,
that's
Mm-hmm.
like the same thing.
I think that everyone classifies themselves as something different. So why would you go to a person going, "Oh, you speak this and you're Chinese"? And it's like, no, it's just like sometimes black people are
I
like,
was just
no,
about to say that.
I'm Egyptian,
Mm-hmm.
or I'm this, I'm that,
Mm-hmm.
or even with Caucasian, they'll say
Yes.
I'm Polish. You ask them, where are you? I'm Polish, or I'm Swedish, or I'm German. It's
Right.
not that, oh, okay,
Mm-hmm.
you're no.
Or
So
French.
right, so everyone has a different nationality. So why not ask
Mm-hmm.
them what is your nationality? Like a lot
Right.
of people
Instead of
didn't
just
even know.
assuming.
Right, you can't
Mm-hmm.
even, and
Mm-hmm.
even with Korea, it's a difference between North Korean and South Korean.
Yes.
Exactly.
Right.
They
Yes.
really
Oh,
get
yes.
very, very, very particular on that. So you have to be careful. But I mean, that just goes
Mm-hmm.
a part of when we talk about cultural appreciation. When you
Yes.
study someone's culture, not to just bulldoze it and your own views and values, but when you sit
Yeah.
back
Right.
and get to know the people and get to know, the language and the culture, why do they do these things? And what is the
Mm-hmm.
difference?
Mm-hmm.
It's like when you get to know that, then you see the beauty of it. Like, and the thing for me is I've had, a friend who was Korean, and he really, he was he's another graduate student. And when I say like what they say about Korea, I really learned about how Korean men, you know what I'm saying, view things,
Mm-hmm.
firsthand. Cause I told, like, the first time, it's just about how courteous they are. I remember
Mm-hmm.
us being at a coffee shop, and he was like, "Okay, let's go." One, I knew, like, okay, I'm learning to be a lady. And so when I had a coffee in my hand and I said, "Okay, well, let me throw the coffee away," and he went, "No," and then took the coffee out of my hand and threw it away, and then was like, "Let's go." And at first, the black woman in me was like, "Excuse me, did you just take that out of my hand?"
Mm-hmm.
But then again, I was like, oh, he didn't want me to have to travel and go back and forth. He was really being a man and doing it for me. And I was like,
Right.
oh, and he was a Korean man. Like, Korean men are very courteous. They
Yeah.
walk you to their car. Like, he walked me to my car. He made sure I went out of the parking lot first. All those things. So
Yeah.
getting to experience his culture, and even him telling me about culture and what, if I go to Korea, where to go, like even places where I can do my hair. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Oh
he
wow.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was
We'll
really in.
keep them intact when we go to Korea.
Oh
Right.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a beauty when you get to know someone's culture. It's such a beautiful thing, and that's what I think about K-pop. Of
Yes.
course, we understand that there's a lot of things, I think we focus on the positive, but to be completely real, there are a lot of things that Korea still has to be progressive. They're still being a
Yeah.
progressive country, and as far as
Mm-hmm.
culture goes and understanding other people's culture, because they've been so secluded. You know what I'm saying? From
Yeah.
everyone.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so we have,
For
Right.
so
yeah, and
long.
so we have to give them a little bit of grace. But seeing the climate and everything with Black Lives Matter movement and all this other stuff, it's a learning curve.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is, there are negative views of African
Mm-hmm.
American people there, and we can't negate that. But we do see an influx of people trying to understand. But I think we just need to get
Mm-hmm.
through all of this in order for us to get over, because we still have problems here in America. So it's like
That's
no one is
exactly what I
perfect.
was getting ready to
Yep.
say. I was like,
Same.
we have those
Right.
Same
same
here.
problems here.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So
Mm-hmm.
it's just about exposure. The more
Yeah.
Right.
exposure.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And
Yep.
learning. It's about
Mhm.
learning too. You need,
Yeah.
that was good that you learned that from that guy
Hmm.
you was with, because otherwise you wouldn't have known. a
Yeah.
lot of this stuff.
Yes.
So you just have to
Mhm.
be open to learn other
Mhm.
people's culture and
Mhm.
not
Mhm.
just assume that's just what it is.
Yeah, and he treated me like a
Right.
person. And just to know, he treated me like a person. We weren't like, "Oh, do you like K-pop? Do you like this?" You know what I'm saying? Because one, he wasn't a huge BTS fan. He loves Blackpink. You know what I'm saying? So just to
Mhm.
know, like, some of the men most love the girl group.
The men,
Yeah, the
yeah.
men love the girl groups and things like that.
Yes.
And even then he got to learn some things from our culture. Because I didn't
Mhm.
Yes.
know that being at a restaurant, the waiters coming to check on them all the time annoyed him. It annoyed him so much because in Korea they don't have waitresses or
They
waiter.
don't
They
do
don't do that.
that.
They don't
Yeah, they
even
got
tip.
that little button.
Yeah, they don't even tip.
Mhm.
Yeah,
To tip
tipping is
someone is an
insulting
insult.
and
Yes.
yeah.
So he was getting I was trying to pay. I'm like, why is he looked annoyed? And so I was like, is this bothering you? And I said, oh no, he's just trying to make sure he gets a good tip, you know? And
Mhm.
so we got to learn from each other. So it was never about, like people like to call it Korea boo, you know what I'm saying? Stuff.
Mhm.
It was a wonderful relationship. It was. And even like, it took a while for him to even hug me. You know what I'm saying? They are not,
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah.
it was just,
Yeah.
yeah. So we learned a lot. And I think we took that into the Imagine series too, that into consideration. I think that helped a lot too.
Mm.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes, and I was going to say is that media plays a big
Yeah.
part in all of this. Not just social media, but entertainment media, the news, all of
Yeah.
it plays a big part of exposure and
Mhm.
making sure that that the country kind of gets information that they need in order for them to understand what's going on. Because a lot of the times you feel like you really understand the situation, but then when you gain some further perspectives,
Mm-hmm.
outside of your
Mm-hmm.
own, it kind of
Mm-hmm.
also kind of shifts your own
Mm-hmm.
perspective in a
Yeah,
way.
because
Yeah.
now they're signing petitions. I think it was 7,000. I think I was watching. Of course, I have a love-hate relationship with DKTV, but I was watching it,
Yeah.
and there
Yeah.
was a lot of petitions now for the education of
Mhm.
why does blackface. What is really blackface. They're
Yes.
petitioning to have that as an educational thing in the Korean school system to educate them on why it is
Mhm.
wrong. You know what I'm saying? To do that. So it
Mhm.
it,
Well, we
it
need to have one of them here because we
Okay.
don't.
I was just
We
about
don't.
to
Can they
say
do
how
that
they
here
Yeah,
too?
but they
anyway.
are trying. But I think through BTS, through all this stuff, they're trying. Even with Black Lives Matter movement, it was such a prominent thing. You know what I'm saying? For them to, speak. Even though it took those 2 days on TikTok were hell. I'm sorry,
Right.
it was
Mm.
the
Yeah.
worst. As a Black K-pop fan, it was the worst 2 days I would say I ever faced in my life because you know, trying to not invalidate someone's feelings or trying to explain why you shouldn't invalidate someone's feelings and then trying to be like, hey, everyone, we know they're going to say something like, or this is why, and this is
Right.
this. It was an exhausting.
Give them
And when
time.
they did, I told you, I broke down crying because it was just like, finally, they're helping.
Yes.
And then to see how they're trying to segue people of color
Mhm.
in there,
Mm-hmm.
just
Right.
even being on Korean news, you know what I'm saying, was a big
Mhm.
thing for me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because then they got to see a Black representation. And then the thing is, they're introducing my face to Korea. I'm like,
Right.
hi.
That was Hobie. That was Hobie.
Right.
He did that.
Pick her. Pick her.
No, and then I called my mom and I was like, they couldn't have picked it. I was like, they had to do the one when my hair was all natural. Like, that's the one
Girl,
time
natural
I
hair is
Yes.
still
I
beautiful.
know.
Still
Yes.
beautiful.
I
Girl, at
love
least they
it.
didn't pick the one with the bonnet with a bonnet on.
Yeah, I was like, I wish I should have wet my hair a little bit more so the curls were a little bit fuller. And I was like, wait a minute, because one, it was just a rant. That video, I kid you not, if you watch the whole
It
video,
was.
was
It was a rant.
Oh my gosh.
I was ranting about how, locals, because we call people who don't stand K-pop the locals. And so
Right.
I was saying the locals have no right to judge us anymore. We should be a best friend. And I was like, so y'all chose that?
You gotta use what you gotta use, I guess.
Yeah.
Right.
So I think
Yes.
Korea is progressing. Is not as much as we would want it to be. You know what I'm saying? But we have to give them some grace and leeway. They're gonna, make mistakes just like we make mistakes here. And
Mhm.
hopefully
Mhm.
through the series, people get to see it a lot more of let's normalize diversity. Let's normalize mistakes. You know what I'm saying? And even to say
Yeah.
these idols make mistakes.
They're people.
Everyone
They're
does.
human. It makes
Exactly.
sense that they
Mhm.
would.
Uh-huh. So I
Mhm.
like it, but I like in the series, most people would blame the woman. You know what I'm saying? For everything. And I
Yeah.
like it that our fans are like, I can't believe Hobie would do that. Or I can't believe Jin would do that. Why? No. You know, so I love it that they're being invested in the whole story and not just, you know what I'm saying, his
Yeah.
point and being on their side of things.
Do you guys feel like this is something that will go on for a long time, or is there like a cap?
Yes, there is a
Yes.
cap. It's not going to go on for a long time. We actually talked about it. There was I want to say we first were at maybe let's do 3 seasons, and then we were just like, no, let's do 5. And then I thought, no, you know what the perfect number is? Let's do 7 seasons because there's 7 boys.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And we don't want to drag it on, you know, no good story. Because then that's when you start adding things that's not supposed to be added in there, and then it just kind of changes the story. And 2, we want to be able to just tell you and then move on to another one, because I want her to be free to be able to write other stories. And so that's what we're working on that. I can say that. We are looking into it, and so it's going to be a huge surprise to people where we go with the next one,
our next project.
Yeah. So, but
well, I'm just saying, JK. You know.
That one. You know, honestly, that was a huge debate for us too. Whether to put that
we talked
with
about
G
that.
Cook and all that stuff, and take it was a very we really sat down and talked about it and really weighed it out, because at first we were like, I don't know how people are going to accept that, you know, or even should we tell it? Is it going to hurt the boys' reputation? We want to make sure anything that we do, we don't want it to be hurtful to them.
Right.
You know, in the long run, we really do consider that. But we wanted to show very diverse relationships. And so we didn't want them to see the people. We wanted them to see the story. So we're just using them as a vehicle to tell, because then again, we have a lot of a lot of male following that actually watch the series. So so we wanted them to feel that, you know, people for the LGBTQ plus community, we wanted them to feel included in it as well. It wasn't just women of color. I wanted everyone to feel that they were represented in a series, you know, in it, so they can see themselves, because there are a lot of men in the there's a lot of people in the LGBTQ community that are into K-pop, and so that is an area that a lot of people do not touch. So how are they supposed to see themselves in something when they don't feel, you know, accepted? You know.
That's beautiful.
This is a bigger message than what we're seeing, and it's great. Like it's great to be able to watch something that you guys created, and to have you allow us to interview you guys. This is super awesome, because you have a really good message, and you have a really interesting series. So
thank you.
Thank you. But season 5, it's gonna get crazier. I can let you know those are the spoilers. Literally, she just rewrote the whole thing. And when I say this one, we really, it was some debates, and I can tell you, when me and her do things, people think we go toe to toe with each other most of the time too, as business partners and ideas. There will be time where literally they'll be like, I'm not talking to you for 2 days because you just it is there'll be times where I'm like, I'm not talking to you because that was just, or this and that. But we really, and I want people to see, we really do think about these things. We really do put everything into it. But season 5 is going to get even crazier. If you thought the 4th season, season 5 is really probably going to sideswipe a lot of people.
Oh,
and that was what I was going to ask, because I wanted to know if you guys wanted to give us a little sneak peek or no. A little something.
Well, Mary, you go ahead. If you want to, that's up to you.
Just a little bit of something.
I was going to bring one that was going to pack a wallet, but there were some recent changes to the timeline that now things are kind of like on a pause, on a hold. And plus, you know, I recently had some situations that I had to kind of really just kind of put a pause on everything. And I mean, everything, to really just focus on that. So, but now we're back to, you know, actually focusing again. And so we could sit down and kind of hash out those details for the changes in the timeline. So what I originally had I was going to bring for today is no longer valid or even being included.
She didn't switch the game up on us.
But I will say we will explore something that everyone has been wondering about for seasons. So I will
Ooh,
say
I
that
already know.
we
I
will
Yes.
already know.
explore something that everyone has
Yes.
wondered about and has been concluded,
Mhm.
but people are like, okay, well, we're just not gonna we're gonna put it on the back burner. But I will say that is going to be explored a
Yes.
little bit more.
Okay.
Oh yes,
Yes, and
girl. I already know what it is. I already know
that's
what it is. I'm so excited for.
yeah, that's what I was gonna give you the one bit of hint that I was gonna give you is that if you watch all 4 seasons prior to
Mm-hmm.
this one, you'll notice one particular storyline that was trailing along and it started to kind of build in season 4.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and if there's one thing that I will say to my fans, and a lot of them, especially, my closer fans, they know this, and I leave a lot of Easter eggs throughout the season that
Mm-hmm.
usually I go back to and reference to in other
Mm-hmm.
seasons. So this particular one is the most biggest Easter egg that I will be unveiling this season,
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
and it has a lot to do with the Maknae line.
Mm-hmm.
A
Ooh,
lot to do with the Maknae
you
line.
switched everything up for me because all I was
Mm-hmm.
thinking about was J Park.
Oh
No, no,
no,
no,
no,
no,
no, no,
no,
ma'am.
ma'am.
That one we're keeping close to
Yeah.
ourselves.
Oh, I want to know. I want to
we will,
know.
we will. I can say you will find out this season who the father is,
Mm-hmm.
and you will find out the name of the child as
Mm-hmm.
well. It's been chosen.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Nice.
Okay,
Yes.
okay.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yeah, I thought
Um.
about that too. See, that was a debate too, but yes, yeah, I thought about it long and hard about it. But yeah,
Yes.
so just there's some things that are going to be explored that people have questions on, and we're going to explore it, and it might leave a cliffhanger a little bit more.
Oh
Um,
Yes.
so just be prepared. That's why I tell people it's going to sideswipe everyone. Just be prepared and be patient and just be open. That's what we tell people. Just be
Oh my
open.
goodness.
Be
no.
I
open.
Okay.
can't wait.
Yes.
I can't wait.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
we're definitely looking forward to the rest of the seasons. Cannot
Yeah.
wait to watch them. They have been
Yeah.
again super amazing.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Thank
Thank
yeah.
you.
you.
So before we let you guys go, we definitely want you guys to, pub your where we can find you, any works and things that you're working on. Definitely let people know where they can find you. Mary, you can go first if you like.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah. So currently I have some written fan fictions on my Wattpad, and then that's under official Atomic Barbie. And then, but I also post some of it on my Instagram, which that one is also Atomic Barbie, but there's like underscore, so there's Atomic underscore Barbie underscore. And then in about a month, I should have my book released.
Okay.
It is it is called Golden Blood Dynasty. And it is not a fan fiction. However, it is loosely, and I mean loosely, related to BTS,
Yeah.
but it's very loose. Like it's just there's a few things that may be similar, but it's
Mm-hmm.
not them.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, but it is my first book I'm publishing, but the 12th one I've written. So I'm very, very excited, and I hope everybody will like it.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to check those things out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, thank
You're welcome.
you.
Yeah. Of course everyone can find like an Instagram. I think I tried to keep everything kind of
Yes.
uniformed. Like find me on Instagram, Lovely Monroe down 88, and on TikTok is where I spend most of the time at. Most of the focus Lovely Monroe down 88 on TikTok. And I think too it's just a testament of we've created such a community on that page. I think of my followers are not just followers, they're family members. I've left really myself kind of really available and open, to most of my followers if they need anything. And we've really created a community where everyone helps each other. So if everyone can just follow those things, and too on YouTube, like she says, or people want to know too, on her Wattpad story, she does have a backstory to the series that leads up. So you have a backstory that leads up to the first episode. So we just thank everyone for their support. We really do, because we were very nervous about doing this because we didn't know how people would accept it. But we really, really appreciate all of our followers and our fans and things like that, because we would be nowhere without them. So I'm very, very grateful and blessed to have a platform that we can do these things on. And Hobie, you can call me.
Girl, stop playing. You already talking to him. We already been known. We've been known.
My mom says she loves you. You are her bias, so therefore it's us.
I love it. Well, I definitely want to thank you guys again for joining us. We appreciate you taking the time out to speak with us.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Do you have any questions for us?
No, we appreciate you all for contacting us. This was something that we were so excited. We don't take it very, very lightly. We were over the moon, and we just, for me, you know, I don't know how people's faith are, but we just pray so many blessings over your podcast. You know, we pray for the people to come in and flood it, and you know, to really, really embrace it, because you both really have such an amazing podcast. I listen to it.
Thank you.
Thank
you know,
you so much.
yeah. So for you guys recognizing us, we just pray so many blessings over your podcast and over your lives personally, you know, so we just thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, honey. And to you as well.
Yeah,
we were so excited to talk to you guys. And we were just like blown away when you guys responded.
Seriously.
Because we was like, oh my God.
Yes.
Right.
We respond. We don't only just respond to inquiries, but we also respond to, we try to respond to all of our fans. Unfortunately, it doesn't always happen, but we try.
Yeah, it was super amazing. We were super geeks. So thank you again.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, so
thank you.
You guys can follow us on Twitter and Instagram. You can always email us those recommendations at doyoureadbts@yahoo.com. Thank you for tuning in for another episode.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.